Hello and welcome to Leaders of Tomorrow, ETNA's special initiative that celebrates the undying entrepreneurial spirit of micro, small and medium enterprises. Here's what we have lined up on the show for you tonight. On our Insight segment, a conversation with Jaipur. And on Bright Sparks tonight, we're featuring two companies, Style Cracker and Haptic. So that's what we have in store for you tonight. Let's get started right away with our Insight conversation. Now, even as Make in India definitely seems to be the flavor of government policy this season, companies are increasingly focusing more on Indian themes and concepts. One company that's definitely taken the lead in this front is Jaipur. I caught up with the management. Take a listen. Puneet Chawla, the co-founder of Jaipur.com, is joining us on the show. Thank you so much for speaking with us here on the Leaders of Tomorrow. Puneet, let's kick this conversation off by asking you what was the thinking behind having that brand name?
So yeah, thinking on the branding was, in the early days when we started the brand, we were, when we started doing our sourcing trips, we went very frequently to Rajasthan and especially to Jaipur. And we realized that, a lot of our product was coming from there. And also, since in the early days, the focus was primarily on the international audience, we thought that the name Jaipur, which is how mostly people from outside India would pronounce Jaipur, was a good fit. And we were also lucky to get Jaipur.com for not a very big amount. So yeah.
Run our viewers through, what categories you're present in right now and what some of your expansion plans are looking like.
We do a lot of categories, right from apparel and accessories like saris and dupattas, and we do a lot of jewelry. We do silver jewelry. We do fashion, precious jewelry. We also do a lot of home decor. We do art. We do things like table linen, bed linen. We've also dabbled in some categories like personal care and food. Going forward, in terms of the categories, I think we've got a fair representation already. We will look at perhaps adding categories like furniture, and mostly the focus is going to be on getting a lot more depth in these categories that we've already chosen and expanding to a lot more people, reaching out to a lot more people, both in India and outside the country.
So that said, what's the short and medium term growth plan looking like?
Well, in terms of, if I were to say in terms of growth plans, we are looking to grow about 300% this year. We've recently closed an institutional round of funding. And in the short term, which I would say about 6 to 12 months, we are looking to grow about 200 to 300%. In the long term, we will, look at perhaps growing this business about 10x over the next 3 years. Which would be a combination of growth within India and abroad, and we may even look at going the offline route and experimenting with some brick and mortar spaces.
You've just closed out one round of funding. Tell our viewers how much you've raised, what the plans are for that fundraise, and where you really are in terms of your own investment business life cycle.
We've raised about $5 million from a fund called Avishkar, which is an impact fund. We closed the round in February, and the plan is, as I said, a lot of this money is going to be used for our technology expansion, getting a solid base in place for the growth that is predicted. A lot of hiring. We've been getting a lot of senior folks on board. And also, in terms of getting the brand out there, we've in the last 4 years of our existence, we've actually spent very little money on advertising, and our growth has primarily been because of word of mouth. But we're looking to now put in some money behind a few campaigns that we're planning.
What has been one key challenge that you faced, Puneet, and what advice would you give our viewers from having learned from that experience?
Well, in the early years, I think one of the biggest challenge for us was really the fact that we were bootstrapped for a really long time. For the first 3 years of our existence, though we did have some angel money on day one, but that was a really small amount. But in hindsight, it was maybe even a blessing in disguise, because it taught us the value of being frugal. It taught us how to build a business with solid unit economics and not just throw money at traffic and discounts and sending out products at zero margins.
How do differentiate yourself from others who are present in this market? You source directly from artisans, from self-help groups amongst others, and sell it on your platform. But how does one really differentiate themselves versus peers when it's a market like the one that you're in?
So see, the biggest difference between what we do and several other similar businesses out there is that we control the entire experience end to end. We're not a marketplace. And why we've chosen to be like that is because we believe that businesses are really at the end of the day about trust. If our customers can trust our choices in terms of the products that we choose, the prices we put on them, and the entire delivery experience and the customer service that follows it. In a marketplace model, it can get a little difficult to control all those pieces. While the model that we've chosen on paper is a more difficult model because you're doing everything. It's like running 5 different businesses under one business. But what that ensures is that the entire end-to-end customer experience is a lot more predictable, which we believe allows the customer to trust us a lot more with their purchases compared to a marketplace where you may not be sure of the quality of the product. You may not be sure how long will it take to be delivered. You don't know the seller who's sending that product to you. So yeah, I mean, we're very, very different like that because we control the entire experience.
Let's talk about the usage of mobile phones when it comes to e-commerce websites like yourself. How much of your revenues at this point come in from the usage of mobile phones, and how do you think our viewers can really integrate that as a tool into their own businesses?
Oh, mobile is now almost 60% of the business. And it is the future. The smartphone, the number of smartphones in this country is phenomenal, and it continues to grow at a very fast pace. I don't think an e-commerce business today can survive without having a mobile offering, either in the form of a mobile app or a mobile optimized website. And anyone who's starting out today or an existing business who may not have a mobile optimized offering, I would really urge them to think about it.
Social media, it's a no-brainer that every business now has to learn how to effectively optimize their presence on social media sites. Talk to us about what strategy you would recommend for our viewers in terms of working more closely using social media in their business.
See, it really depends on the kind of business you're in. I feel that we're in the business of selling a lifestyle and not necessarily selling a product. And when you're in the business of selling a lifestyle, it is very important to communicate with your consumer. And social media is a great channel to do that because they're forever connected. People these days are forever connected to social media. It's easy to reach out to a large number of people. In terms of the canvas that social media typically provides you, it's very rich. It's an audio-visual medium. And if you want to talk to your consumers to find out what is it that they want, to find out, to get feedback on what you're doing right, what you may not be doing right, social media is a great platform. And, every business today has to have an active social media presence and constantly talk to their customers.
A quick last word, Puneet. In terms of making themselves more investment ready, what advice would you have for our viewers? The reason I'm asking you this is because most of the queries that we get here on the Leaders of Tomorrow pertain to how to raise funds effectively and how to make yourself more attractive when it comes to getting such funds. What advice would you have?
Well, firstly, be honest. I think being honest with your investors or potential investors and making sure that that your books are clean and transparent goes a long way, because at the end of the day, an investor really invests in the promoters as much as the business model. And if an investor can trust the promoters for not just their vision but their honesty and their discipline in doing the business, I think that goes a long way in ensuring a successful fundraise. Also, concentrate on the right things. If you're looking to build a sustainable business, you need to look at how many of your customers come back regularly and shop from you, and how much money they actually spend in those transactions. So follow the right, chase the right matrices.
Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll put the spotlight on two companies, Style Cracker and Haptic. Just stay tuned. welcome back to Leaders of Tomorrow on Bright Sparks tonight. We're featuring Style Cracker and Haptic. Are you fascinated by Alia Bhatt's latest look or Varun Dhawan's cool swag? Well, on Bright Sparks tonight, we tell you the story of Style Cracker, the company that styles consumers for free to make them look like their favorite style icons. Paulami Mukhopadhyay has the story. She went for a makeover. Let's see how that went.
Every day I get about 400 ideas in my inbox. But all I need is that one story that can break the stereotype. Now that I know what I want, let's go for a new look. Started in 2013, Style Cracker was designed by Dhiman Shah and Archana Valavalkar to help consumers get personal styling done sitting at home. Within just a few years of operations, Style Cracker managed to entice over 120 brands to bring them on their platform. With over 1 lakh registered users, Style Cracker became the preferred stylist for silver screen's favorite celebrities as well. What triggered you to start this company on fashion and styling? Was there a personal choice for you?
So it's very natural for everyone to want to look good, and that stems from feeling good about yourself. Also, I feel India has a great and rich heritage of culture, and there's so much great design and aesthetic here. There's like abundance of it, and we just wanted to cater to that, cater to all these fabulous brands that we have here, and make that really, really relevant to the market and just accessible and available to everyone.
Fashion is a very dynamic phenomenon. So what kind of factors do you keep in mind when it comes to styling a consumer, keeping in mind the personality of the consumer as well as the season fashion trend?
So when you log on to the website and when you sign up, we do a quick questionnaire, like a 5-step questionnaire with our clients to understand certain attributes about them. So something like, as you said, the body shape of a person, right? Or what kind of social life does the person have? So what are the occasions you go to? And of course, images always really help. A lot of our users are happy to share their pictures, and the more information we have about you, the better we can style you. There are ample trends that come out every season, I mean through fashion weeks across the world. So we tell you those 5 or 10 trends this season that you must wear.
So what kind of role does online medium play when it comes to styling, considering it's majorly done through personal interaction?
Actually, our chat is very personalized. It's a live chat, and it's almost like having your own personal stylist 24/7 at your, literally at your desk. So we get a lot of our questions through our personal chat, where you can also upload images about what you already have in your closet, and our stylist will instantly tell you whether it works or doesn't work, or what else can you pair it with, or something that's available on our website that you must have as a wardrobe essential. So I think that's where we bring in that personal touch through our chat.
Now let's see what the stylist has in store for me. If you're not like me and good at makeup, seek their advice. Else, pay some extra and get it done by a professional. Dhiman, how do you manage margins and bring revenue, considering that you always style your consumers for free?
We are completely, as you rightly said, completely free for our consumers and our users. So where we make our revenue is from our brands, our partner brands. Every sale that we make a percentage of that sale. We also launch a lot of brands.
What is Style Cracker Borrow? Is it just a marketing strategy or rather a much more planned brand building exercise?
So the Style Cracker Borrow is actually just a natural extension of our business. What we do online, we moved into an offline format. We are firmly of the belief that we can't be just an online or mobile app. We have to be accessible to our consumers in every way, shape or form. It's funny, we did the first one at my house actually, with just 12 brands, and we had 600 people come out to it. The most recent one we did in April in Bombay had 31,000 people come out 130 brands, and there was over 8.2 crores worth of sales that happened over that weekend. So the Stylecracker Borough has now become India's largest fashion festival. Today only you use Stylecracker, but over this weekend your entire family should experience Stylecracker, and that's why the Stylecracker Borough.
How different is Stylecracker from other startups who are tapping into the same space like a Vonik or say 20 dresses?
Okay, that's actually a great question, because what we are is we are a style concierge. We are your personal stylist. We are not an e-commerce website. We are not an e-commerce platform. We are not a marketplace. We also have a very strong offline presence. You know, the Stylecracker Borough. We have launched the Stylecracker Pod, which is a series of small pop-up shops across the city and soon the country. So what we do is give our consumers several touch points to their personal stylist, which is us. You know, so e-commerce, being a marketplace is not our business really. It is one part of what we do.
And voila! Cheers to the new me.
All it takes is just one click to get your makeover done. Press enter for stylecracker.com.
Who doesn't want a personal assistant at their tips? Pooja Jain visited Haptic's headquarters here in Mumbai and discovered just how a company that's coined the phrase conversational commerce is making this dream a reality.
Haptic, in its own words, gets things done on chat. From helping you make dinner reservations to identifying the best vacation deals online, and from having your groceries delivered to your doorstep to setting reminders so that you never miss a deadline, a Haptic assistant does it all over messaging. Its chat-based app has already received over 1 million downloads.
So 8 years ago, you were college classmates, and present day, fast forward, you're co-founders of Haptic, your personal assistant on chat. Very curious to know, was there a specific light bulb moment where it occurred to you that there was a market need for chat-based commerce?
The light bulb took a while. I think it was more like a tube light. Actually, a conference where I was speaking, one of the members of the audience came up after my session and was like, hey, you talk a lot about messaging. What about a service where, you know, users could message brands, right? So that was interesting. I was like, fine, that makes sense, but what would they message brands about? So that was, let's say, the tube light started coming on at that point.
Well, let's talk a bit more about that. You know, I really want to understand the range of use cases here, right? The categories, the quantities of requests that you receive. Can you give me a sense?
You know, 30 or 40 years back, the most natural form of retail was you would go to a store and you would ask someone, ki boss, kuch dikhana idhar. He would help you through it and then sort of help you through a purchase, right? That's kind of the experience that we realize people are looking for even on, you know, mobile now, which is, hey, I need to buy a shirt, help me. I want to fly to Delhi tomorrow, can you give me a round trip ticket? You know, I'm looking for tickets tonight for the Sultan movie, can you help me find what's the best ticket available? The realization was that everybody wants an assistant. I mean, if you take a poll on, you know, in a crowded area of like 5,000 people saying, hey, who would like a free assistant? You'd say everybody would put their hand up and ask for one.
So Akriti has mentioned a few times getting things done, an assistant. So that really distinguishes you from a customer support effort, right? So tell us more about that, and was that a challenge at all in terms of educating the market?
I think what we're trying to do is obviously more than anything else, we're trying to get a change in user behavior. So I think, you know, users are very open to, you know, hey, let me just call someone when I have a problem. So that is what customer support happens. But what we're trying to do is, you know, even before the problem, when you're just trying to figure something out, that's where we want to come in, right? And that's literally what we want to focus on a lot more. And customer support is just kind of post-sale. So if you bought it through us, we will definitely help you out in that as well. So we'll go end to end.
Haptic raised a $1 million seed round from Kalari Capital and more recently an undisclosed Series B round from Times Internet in April of this year. With partnerships in place with Flipkart, ClearTrip, Via.com, Urban Clap and Dine Out amongst others, the company processes upwards of 500,000 requests per month.
Both of you have spent time abroad, and we love this reverse brain drain of coming back to the motherland and contributing to its, you know, tech landscape. Very curious to know some entrepreneurial lessons learned abroad.
I'll take a shot at that because that's something that I'm fairly passionate about. I think the biggest difference that I see among entrepreneurs in, let's say, the US or San Francisco and India is discipline. You know, entrepreneurs and startups in India are almost an extension of college, right? Which I don't think is the most healthy environment to run a company, right? By extension of college, it's like, you know, you can work anytime you like, right? You pretty much don't do anything for like 3 weeks, and last 2 days pull off everything, which is what, you know, people typically do in college, which is actually rather culture that I've seen among even Indian startups, and that's become almost commonplace. So I think one of the things that we try very hard at Haptic, which is very different from a lot of companies, is that instill that culture of some level of discipline.
Your take on the competitive landscape here?
So we don't know who our competitors are. So if there are 2 or 3 companies that we feel will ultimately eat our cake, it's basically Facebook or Google, right? If you think about Facebook, the amount of effort they're putting into the Facebook Messenger to build it a bot-based platform, the effort Google is putting in from what they're trying to build on Google Assistant, that really ties into, you know, a lot of the work we are doing. 2016 is supposed to be the year of the chatbot, right? Just to give you a case in point, when we started the company, there were 2 companies, including us, in the entire world doing anything like this. That was end 2013. End 2014, there was about 6. And middle of 2015, there was about 50 because there was just a sudden ramp up of people trying to do this. And now middle of 2016, there's back to about 10. I think the biggest threat definitely lies from companies like a Facebook or a Google, and they're directly getting into this. It's, you know, always exciting to have them as a competition, because more than anything else, I think the greatest learning comes from your competition, and if your competitors are those types of companies, then I guess you learn the most.
With its eyes on becoming a one-stop shop for all customer queries, Haptic, which boasts over 200 brands as its clients, says it's just getting started.
With that, it's a wrap in this edition of Leaders of Tomorrow. Do write in to us at leadersoftomorrow@times2.com, reach us on social media using the hashtag LOT, or call us on that number which is on your screens. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.